Check this out, guys. Today I'm going to show you what it's like to drive the all-new 2025 Bentley Flying Spur Speed from a first-person point of view. Under the hood is a 4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 with an electric motor, making an astounding 771 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. Now, top speed is down to 177 miles an hour, as if that's not enough. It was 207 miles an hour with the W12, but the level of acceleration you get with this hybrid powertrain and the usability is far superior. Now, because this car is a hybrid, on the right side, you fill it up with gas, and if we come around to the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got a plug to plug it in at home. Although it does have the ability to change the driving mode to allow you to charge it while you're driving, which I prefer. Click on the little B logo to open up that trunk, and then check out how fancy this plug-in charger is. That is epic. Now, thanks to that electric motor, we have 47 miles of all-electric range. It does make it a bit heavy at 5,800 pounds, but this thing isn't supposed to be a lightweight carbon fiber supercar. Thankfully, we do have 10-piston front brakes to slow it down, and the handling capability of this car is actually shocking, which I'll show you in a little bit. Get a load of how gorgeous those crystallized headlights are, and that beautiful front grille. Now, you've got different front grille options to choose from in the varying Flying Spur models. The Speed comes with this design. The Azure comes with a different one, as does the Mulliner. But I think it is such an athletic and elegant looking car. Now, there's no bad place to sit in the Flying Spur Speed, but the rear seats are particularly epic. These gorgeous pillows that just feel absolutely insane to rest your head on are so comfortable. And if we come over to the door, you've got all of these controls. You can recline the rear seats. You've got massage functionality. You have automatic sunshades on the sides and in the rear. You also have your own sunroof in the back. Hopping in the rear, you have tons of legroom, and then get a load of this screen. It actually detaches and comes out, so you can control everything from the blinds to the seats to the lighting, and even put the Flying B logo up and down. That is pretty epic. We even have mirrors for the rear seat occupants in case you want to do your makeup or look at yourself, and this optional name audio speaker system is out of this world. Inside the Flying Spur Speed now, these seats are so comfortable and supportive. We've got a massaging functionality with a button right down there. Go ahead and activate Wave is my favorite one. It actually works really well and reduces fatigue out on the road. Now, when we turn the Bentley on, start stop button here, it fires up in all electric mode. So you can drive 47 miles in all electric mode. If you put it into sport mode, it'll fire on that engine, which sounds really, really cool. I love the steering wheel, 8-speed dual clutch transmission, different views for the instrument cluster, which is nice. Paddles mounted behind the steering wheel as well. And then, of course, I love the fact that the screen rotates in 3 different positions. This is my favorite with all of the analog gauges. It future-proofs the interior from, well, looking dated when graphics get more and more advanced over the years. But I think it's time to take this thing out for a spin. All right, behind the wheel of the 2025 Bentley Flying Spur Speed, we've started it up in comfort mode, which defaults to all electric mode in the beginning. We've got 47 miles of all electric range. Really nice to drive around in the city, just to go to the gym or to escape out of your neighborhood early in the morning. But it also gives you the opportunity to experience the level of sound deadening and refinement that this car has. And you almost don't even understand the level of isolation from the outside world until you open the windows or the sunroof, and then are reminded that when you're driving along at 40 miles an hour, there is a lot of wind noise and road noise and ambient sound, but all of it disappears when you're inside this vehicle. It's actually such a serene experience behind the wheel. Every single day you could drive this. You could drive this vehicle for 10 hours, activate the massaging seat function, and it keeps you feeling sprite and eager to drive it more. I even drove it so long that it told me that I should probably take a break on the display. And I honestly wasn't tired. It was just probably worried. Why was I driving this so long? But honestly, it's because it's such a fantastic vehicle. Now, as good as it is in comfort mode, just wafting around, it's so easy to drive. The steering is, it has such good feel to it. Obviously not a lot of communication from bumps and traction, but the weight of it is fantastic, honestly. Now, let's go ahead and flick it into Bentley mode. That is a combination between sport and comfort. Basically, it adapts to your driving style, and then it changes the mode. But let's go ahead and put it into sport mode, where it will fire on that twin turbocharged V8. It kicks down. Let's pull this back, put it into manual shift mode with the 8-speed dual clutch transmission, and off we go. This thing pulls like an absolute freight train. 771 horsepower, 739 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. And what's so impressive to me is how stable it is under braking, around corners, corner exit, and that's thanks to a whole bunch of Bentley engineering magic. So we've got a 48-volt electronically controlled active anti-roll bar system that monitors the road and adapts instantaneously to make sure it eats up bumps. Then we've got an active all-wheel drive system that basically is almost fully rear-wheel drive until it feels like the car needs traction in the front. And then we have all-wheel steering, which helps it feel a lot lighter on its feet. We also have dual-valve dampers that allow for a more comfortable comfort mode and a more dynamic sport mode. Downshifts are quick, as are upshifts, but then that power out of the corner is just outrageous. I'd love to see what this thing is capable of with like some Cup 2 tires, because really the limiting factor of this, obviously the weight, but is the tires. And it produces astonishing amount of grip for something this heavy and with 22-inch wheels. But imagine if you did some aftermarket 19-inch wheels, wouldn't look as cool. With some Cup 2s, this thing would grip like a monster. What's crazy is it's actually got basically the same powertrain as another press car I've got this week, the Urus SE. But that powertrain is so much louder and more violent, whereas this is tuned to be more subtle and elegant. And I think both of the tunings make all the sense in the world for their respective manufacturers. I love how smooth and seamless this is. They used to have a W12 because they would tout that the acceleration of a V12 or W12 was incredibly smooth. But honestly, I think that the V8 twin turbo hybrid setup is even better, and you've got a lot of additional power. The main benefit I see from the hybrid is not being able to drive it around town in all electric mode. I mean, that's cool and all, and probably helps with fuel economy, but if you're buying, you know, a $370,000 Bentley, are you that concerned with your gas mileage? Probably not. But what you are concerned with is how instant the throttle response is. I mean, it feels like a naturally aspirated supercar up in the RPM range from like 3,000 RPMs. You got so much torque down low because of those electric assist and the twin turbos. It's actually really, really impressive. 10 piston brakes to slow this thing down incredibly well. Now let's go ahead and put this thing back into sport mode and do a little launch control. Super easy to do. We're in sport mode. You just floor the brake and the accelerator, and off we go. 0 to 60 in less than 3.5 seconds. Now, the top speed is down from 207 miles an hour to 177. Probably not going to affect anyone. But if you are on the Autobahn, I imagine a simple tune, it's electronically limited. You could go well over 200 miles an hour in this thing all day long. Which is a ridiculous concept. But I'm in love with this car. It's easy to drive, and it's incredibly fun to drive. And it can achieve things that a Rolls-Royce can't. If you want something more comfortable, there are different variants of the Flying Spur. There's the Mulliner, there's the Azure. But if you want a sedan that's incredibly capable in back roads, and that is as comfortable as a Rolls or a Maybach, I don't know, look no further. If I had a spare 370 grand, I think I'd go out and buy one of these tomorrow. I absolutely love this thing. The Name audio speaker system is phenomenal as well. And of course, I love the rotating screen. That way, it's never going to get old. When graphics advance, this looks very nice now. I'll say the graphics are fantastic, but as things progress, I imagine in 20 years, these graphics are going to look dated, but these analog gauges will never look dated. They've looked cool for hundreds of years now. And I love that you've got an analog clock right there and the pushers for the climate control. It just feels properly old school. What would be cool actually is if they also had a rotating display for the instrument cluster, and that could go to analog gauges, to have analog and digital. Be an interesting feature, maybe for the next generation. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.